YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. If you're new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe right now. Here's why you should subscribe to my channel. I discuss intimate issues that affect us as a society and as mankind. I discuss issues that you will appreciate that somebody's actually talking about. I also do reviews on herbal medicine and herbal therapies that one can use to heal the body or boost one's immune system. I focus on herbal therapies that I've used personally, so you'll be getting first-hand feedback. And yes, I am an astrologer. I bring you astrology in a simple way that you can understand and use the guidance to make better decisions in your everyday life. So go ahead and explore my channel, watch my other videos, and see if you can find something that you may like. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that I can continue bringing you all this free content. Moving on to our topic. I'm going to be talking about Venus retrograde and the effect it will have on all 12 zodiac signs. I will discuss how it will affect your individual horoscope at the end of the video, so stay tuned. In order for this discussion to make sense, you must listen to the introduction. I want you to understand this video, so please go to astro.com to get your free natal birth chart so that you can follow along. I always use the ascendant in my readings, but you must listen to your moon sign to find out how this transit will affect you emotionally. Since we are talking about Venus, maybe you should listen to all three: your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant. Fated relationships will begin, return, or end, or renegotiate. Are you ready? I will talk about the specific aspects Venus will make to other planets when I start doing weekly videos. This video will give you a foundational understanding of the entire Venus retrograde transit and its effects on all the 12 zodiac signs. While in transit, Venus will make two harmonious aspects. One is called a sextile and the other one is called a trine. This will smooth things out in your air sign houses and your fire sign houses. Venus got activated at the Libra full moon on the 7th of April, and then again at the Taurus new moon on the 22nd of April. This will intensify the Venus transit starting May through August. Venus retrograde shadow began on the 9th of April 2020 at 5 degrees Gemini. The actual retrograde will begin on the 13th of May 2020 at 20 degrees of Gemini. Look to see if you have any planets between those degrees. Venus will cross those planets 3 times. Venus retrogrades in the same sign every 8 years. The last time it was retrograde in Gemini was in 2012. I'm going to ask you to see if you can remember what happened in 2012. Did a lover come back? Did a situation from the past resurface? We do this so that we can compare if there's any similarities with what could possibly happen during this Venus retrograde cycle this year. However, the astrology has been very different from the last time it was in Gemini. This year we have the Cancer North Node and the Capricorn South Node. Capricorn South Node has conjunctions of karmic planets which have been opposing the Cancer North Node, making life in a home and a work area very challenging. Karmic nodes are the north nodes of the moon and the south nodes of the moon. They're also known as Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology. These points cause eclipses. They're going to be moving into Gemini on the 5th of May 2020. So this makes the Venus retrograde cycle caught in between an eclipse cycle. This will make the transit very fated and very karmic. So whatever is going to end during a Venus retrograde cycle in between eclipses should just be left alone. If a relationship happens to end in this period, just walk away. When something is taken out by an eclipse, it cannot be repaired. Let's evaluate the nodes where they are right now. Cancer rules our home, our home, our ancestors, our mother, our emotions, and the South Node in Capricorn is the natural 10th house. It rules our work, authority figures, the government, and what we do for work. Essentially how we're seen by the public. Taurus ascendant or Taurus moon. Venus will retrograde in Gemini, your second house. If you had lent money to someone before this transit, this would be the time that they would repay you. Money will come back to you during this transit, or a big bill if your natal Venus is not well aspected. You are one of the signs that should definitely avoid plastic surgery during this transit, especially anything to do with the face, because Venus is retrograde in your second house. Your second house is the natural house of Venus, as in Taurus, so it will rule your face. You do value your face, so don't do anything to your face. Venus rules your ascendant, so this is really going to affect how you feel about yourself, your body image, and how your partner sees you. The ascendant is opposite the descendant. That is the relationship between you and the other. So yes, most of the rules do apply to you. Do priceless things that make you feel happy. Treat yourself to a luxurious bath, a nice dinner, chocolate, make yourself feel good, champagne, bubble bath. Libra also rules your sixth house of daily routine, diet, pets, and work. It also rules open enemies. Venus retrograde will make a harmonious aspect to Libra, your sixth house. This aspect can make you lazy because you just seem to think things will just flow to you. If an infection or a disease returns, because Venus is making a harmonious aspect to your sixth house, a disease could be an open enemy. So this is a disease that you've had before. It could return or re-inflame. This is a perfect time to get rid of it. Try not to start a lawsuit or a divorce proceedings during a Venus retrograde. If you are the initiator of the lawsuit or the divorce, you will lose. Wait until the transit is over to initiate any of those actions. Reevaluate your case and do what you have to when the retrograde is completely over. It's a great time to offer an olive branch to enemies. You could repair a fractured relationship at this time. Since your ruler also rules your daily regimen, it's a good time to start a diet or go back to an old exercise habit that you used to have. Or you could just take your pet and go walking around your neighborhood. Taurus likes to hoard things, so don't buy any more things to soothe your ego. You may not like whatever you buy when this transit is over. Literally forced us to go home. Cancer North Node, where we must go. Our government structures, old structures, our jobs, our work, how we're seen in society, has been completely destroyed or restructured, and that is the Capricorn South Node where we must let go. So Venus retrograde transit is going to literally feel like a tornado has just hit through our homes and our job, and we're sitting at the aftermath trying to pick through the remains, evaluating what's worth keeping and what's not worth keeping. We're going to carry this concept with our relationships and our marriage or long-term relationships. We're going to be reevaluating if they're still worth staying in or if we actually do like the family that we've created. Some people are going to walk away from their homes, their families, or their jobs. The tables are going to totally turn. As we speak, the nodes are at 0 degrees, and 0 degrees is a very karmic point. 0 degrees Cancer is going to feel like we've been stuck underwater, swimming, trying to go upstream, and we start to see bubbles. We're feeling the air coming up. And because the nodes go backwards and they're going to go into Gemini, Gemini is the air. So it's like we're coming up for air, and we're all of a sudden going to remember where we're going, or what we want, or what we love and value. It's not going to be the same. For some people, depending on the astrology in your natal chart, some people are actually going to really see the true value and the love in the home, and they're going to keep that or restructure it in some way, but they're going to keep that. For most of us, we're going to walk away, because when the nodes are involved, we start feeling, I'm talking about the nodes because we start feeling the energy of the eclipses a month before the event or a month after the event. So we have the eclipse energy in the air, so we can definitely, we cannot just judge Venus retrograde cycle by itself. Let me stop talking about the nodes. I'll make a separate video when the nodes move into Gemini. And I also noticed, actually, before I leave that subject, that the nodes are actually moving into Gemini around the 5th of May, which coincides with when they're going to relax social distancing. And Gemini likes to flirt, likes to be around, talk to people. So we are literally going to feel like we're coming up for air. So that analogy was quite on point. I'm going to refer to my notes so that I don't miss out anybody. The people with the following sign placements will be affected the most. If you're a Sagittarius, Venus is going to go retrograde on your descendant. Your descendant is your Gemini house. So that's your relationship, committed relationships, marriage, partnerships, all of that. So that's going to be under reevaluation, or some situations from the past will, resurface. If your natal Venus is in Gemini, you're going to be experiencing what we call a Venus return. If you have your natal Venus already retrograde, you're probably more accustomed to this energy, so the transit will be a lot easier for you. If you're a Taurus or a Libra, you're ruled by Venus. So whatever Venus does in the horoscope is always going to affect you. If you're a Scorpio or Aries rising, that means Venus rules your relationship sector. It's not where it's retrograde, it's just that it rules it. All the houses that are ruled by Venus, or where she sits, are going to be affected somehow by this retrograde transit. If the Lord is Venus, that is the Lord of the year, basically that Venus is ruling you for the whole year. That's in Hellenistic astrology. Your Venus got activated. If your Mahadasha ruler, that is your Mahadasha period, that's in Vedic astrology, is Venus, your Venus got activated. If Venus rules your solar return ascendant for the year, you are definitely going to feel some kind of experience from this Venus retrograde. And if your birthday is on May the 13th or around there, you're going to have this Venus retrograde energy for your whole solar return chart, for the whole solar return year. Let's look at what Venus means or rules in astrology. It rules love, what we value. Let's evaluate what Venus rules in astrology. Venus rules love, money, what we value, our self-esteem. It also rules beauty, your face, and the family that we create. Not the family that you're born into, the family that you create with a partner, or your friends that become really close and you start to call them family. In a man's chart, Venus rules the wife. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury, so therefore we have to look at what Mercury rules in astrology. It rules communication, the internet, our siblings, our immediate environment, and our efforts. It also rules how we travel, car, and computers. To talk about some of the things you should avoid doing or committing to during a Venus retrograde transit. These are merely suggestions, so please use your own intuition. Don't get married during a Venus retrograde transit. Don't do it. Your marriage is going to lose value very quickly. It's going to lack love. Don't start a new relationship in a Venus retrograde transit. Your boo may not tell you the absolute truth about himself. He might be already married, or he could be into alternative sexual lifestyles that you may not approve of, or you may have major differences in core values. Or he might just totally be broke and trying to get your money. Don't start a new business venture during this transit. You may not have all the information that you need. Just do the research, and if you still want to do this business venture, do it after Venus goes forward. Here's a very common one. Don't do plastic surgery during a Venus retrograde transit. Don't do lip injections, don't do Botox, don't do facial surgery, or you might end up looking like this. All those people you see walking around looking like that probably did their surgery during a Venus retrograde transit. You can't say I didn't warn you. It just never goes right. Wait until this transit is out of the way if you have to do any type of surgery. Don't get a tattoo. Don't do it. It's very difficult to work over or remove a tattoo. Here, a relationship with a sibling or a childhood friend. It's also a perfect time to go for a walk and rediscover your neighborhood. You just never know who you might meet. And if you do meet someone, instead of texting them, call them. This is a perfect time to do voice calls because people are lonely now, and honestly, the window to the soul, to someone's soul, is in their voice. So you actually get further with a voice call, and it will be greatly appreciated during quarantine time. It's a perfect time to start online dating, so check some dating websites. If you have something of value that you would like to sell, this is the perfect time because people are not seeing the true value of things. So people are more likely to overpay for things and then realize they got duped after the transit. So if you have things you want to get rid of, this is a perfect time. But if you're on the receiving end, also know that if you buy something of value at this time, we might not be seeing the value clearly, and you'll probably regret it. So don't say I didn't warn you. It's a shyster move to try and, get over on people when they're not seeing things clearly. But apparently this is the kind of world we live in now, or have always lived in. Perhaps you lost something of value and you would like to find it. You lost it in your house, perhaps a diamond ring or a necklace. If you look for it now, whenever planets go retrograde, especially Venus, which rules things that we value, you might just possibly find it now. It's a great time to buy antiques. Like I said, people are not seeing the value of things clearly. They just want to probably move out of their house and get rid of things, so they'll just give things away for really, really they'll undervalue they will undervalue their items. So it's a great time to take advantage of that. Since Venus rules love and money, old lovers are very likely to come back into your life to either restart a relationship or just come back for closure. Or maybe the current quarantine will just have people thinking of their old lover and thinking, should they reignite the relationship? During quarantine, with what we're going through, honestly, it's very hard to start knowing somebody totally brand new. So I do see a lot of people going back to their former lovers. even if it just serves the purpose for now, most people are going to think it's a lot safer to go back to someone who you know and understand, or already know how they behave socially, than try to meet somebody totally brand new. But I must warn you, if you're going back to somebody who punched you in the face, tried to stab you, cheated on you, or abused you, it might not be a good idea to do that, because you're probably going to get the same thing. It doesn't take a psychic to tell you don't go back to that type of relationship. But if you're involved in a relationship where you just had some minor misunderstanding or difference of values, or things just went wrong from somewhere, this is actually a great time to try and repair that relationship. Just stay away from people who are abusive. Basically, retrograde transit are excellent for doing anything that starts with RE. Retouch, relax, redo, revive, restart, restore, etc. Venus retrograde in Gemini, the sign that also rules trade and negotiations, will have us getting money from the government. Most people started getting the extra 600 with the unemployment payments around the time Venus went into shadow on April 9th, 2020. The government says it will pay us this extra money for 4 months. That is around the time Venus moves out of Gemini. Happy money returns. This is astrology at work for us. Since Venus also rules love, money, and old lovers are very likely to return. Oh, I already said that. All this information may sound challenging and complicated for the average listener. If you'd like to know how this transit will affect you personally, please book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that I can continue bringing you more free content. I'm now going to move on to the rising and moon signs. If you don't see your rising or moon sign today, please come back tomorrow or the next day to see if it's been uploaded. Moon. Well, aren't you the lucky star? You'll be hosting Venus on your ascendant for 4 months. Whenever Venus is transiting your ascendant, it makes you feel beautiful and attractive. Other people are easily attracted to you, and you can attract a whole lot of attention. I suggest you take a whole bunch of selfies, post them on the internet and your social media. You just never know who will notice. This is an excellent time to meet a new lover because Venus is making an excellent harmonious aspect to Libra, your 5th house. The aspect is called a trine. Yes, it's called a trine. It will make things flow very easily between those 2 houses. So it will give you an easier time getting along with your lover, but still be careful to not make any real commitments until the transit is over. If this lover is the love of your life, he will be around when this transit is over. Just you don't do anything that you might possibly regret, because you're not seeing very clearly right now. It may be fun, so if you're just looking for a short-term relationship fling, then go for it. But if you're looking for a long-term relationship, I would suggest you be careful and make a commitment after the transit is over. It's actually very easy to keep things light during quarantine time. I mean, if you meet a new person, you're not going to right away start seeing a whole lot of them. You have to be careful. Venus rules your 12th house in the sign of Taurus. It is also the house of the unknown and hidden enemies. So a hidden enemy might return, or a secret love affair lover might resurface, or you may start a secret love affair. Just be aware that the affair may be revealed once the retrograde is over or during the transit. Luckily, you have Venus on your ascendant, so she's on your side. You could enjoy hidden private activities or fantasies and dreams. Just avoid self-sabotaging situations. Gemini, out of all the signs, will have an easier time with this quarantine. You will enjoy being at home with your children and working on small creative projects or fixing things in your home or just gardening. The karmic nodes move in your sign on the 5th of May 2020. This will amplify the Venus transit and all the aspects she'll make while she's in your sign. This is definitely a period that you will remember for the rest of your life. This is your time, Gemini. Enjoy. But like I said, make commitments after the transit is over. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that I can continue bringing you more free content.